What's up, Raider Nation? We are live. And tonight we got Brian Fowler from All In Autumn Win with us. He's going to be live on channel. So he's been to every stadium, every city, every mile. We're going to talk about it. He's broke 2 Guinness World Records. It's not a casual fan we're talking about here. This is Raider Nation commitment for sure. But tonight we asked what it took, what almost went wrong, and what being all in really means to him, and what it kind of means to the nation too. So then Nate and I will then check our draft board after that, our big board from a couple of weeks ago, see where we got wrong, what we got good, and if we cooked it anywhere. So make sure you hit that like, share it out. Brian is here. So let's roll.
From the tailgate smoke to the late night post, best cash in the game. Raiders Coast2Coast. Click that play, let it roll. Silver, black in my soul, got 401. Righty to Jeff, breaking plays, taking notes. That chef, film on loop. He's stacking stats, calling out schemes, exposing gaps. When the line holds, when it don't, they say what they scared to quote. Raiders coast to coast, that's the show I trust the most. From a bay down to that post, we riding, we riding. Raiders coast to coast. If you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We riding, we riding. LV Arena 10, bring that flame. Live from the desert, loving this game. Stories from the stands, from the strip. Heart in the huddle every trip. They debated, never fake it. Caught a draft pick, celebrated when the shield shine bright on screen. You can hear the whole fan base scream. Let's go! Let's go. Raiders coast to coast. That's the show I trust the most. From the bay down to that post, we riding, we riding. Raiders coast to coast. If you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We riding, we riding. The old Coliseum to the lights where we see them YouTube on. That's the spot for the real talk. Real plot forward, rid of Jeff, LV, rid of 10. Run it back, run it back, run it back. Play that episode again. Raiders coast to coast. It's the show I trust the most. From the bay down to that post, we riding, we riding. Raiders coast to coast. If you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We riding, we riding.
What is up, everybody? We are back. Raider Nation, welcome in. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications. So tonight's a special one. Nate and I have been working on this for the last few days, actually in studio last night, planning everything out to make sure that we go as smooth as we possibly can, right?
Definitely.
So like I said, we have Brian Fowler from All In Autumn Win backstage, and we're ready to go. So Nate's here with me. I'm here. The chat's here. So without further ado, we're going to bring Brian in with us right now. Brian, what's up, brother? How you doing, brother?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me, man. Listen, that was quite an intro. That musical montage. I love it. Yeah, badass.
There was definitely a compilation between the two of us. I did the music, and Nate put the video together. He's done a few of our videos for a couple of different shows, so he does really good at it. So
good work. Yeah, love it.
Thank you.
Yep, it was. It's been a treat for sure. So, Brian, how you doing, man?
I'm great.
You still jet lagged from all those flights?
You know, I think I sat on the couch for about a month after the Guinness run, but eventually I had to kind of get ready for the draft. And, you know, I'm just kind of looking for other events between now and September to keep my mind busy, because I'm so excited about our draft and our free agency and Fernando and all of it. You know, this is going the right direction. I feel it. And
it's a start of something good. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, there's an event this weekend. You must know about it. I'm sure the Bakersfield event.
Yes, that is May 16th in Bakersfield.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Trey Tucker's going to be there, and that's put on by Lorenzo. And yeah, he does that every year. He's been doing it a long time. So yeah, that's a good one.
I know a few of the guys that we do shows with, like our buddy Cheeto Linus. He's going to be there. Nate, are you going?
I'm going. Yeah, I'll be there.
Nate will be there.
Oh, nice! I'll see you there.
I'm not going across the country.
Nice, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, where is it? So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to ask you different questions throughout this episode to kind of get to know a little bit about you, and then obviously we'll talk about the Guinness record and everything, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Raiders too at that point. But I guess what we're going to do is we're going to start this off. Okay, so we really appreciate you being here. You know, you've done something most fans would never even attempt. You know, you took Raider Nation basically on the road for a full season. You know, I know in the past you've done a couple of games here and there. You know, nothing like this. This is out of this world what you just did. But we're going to talk about the journey. You know, the records, the close calls, the fan bases that you met. You know, and really what all in means. Okay, so basically, before the records, before the travel, before people knew the name really all in Autumn Wind. We're going to start with like your roots, like your Raider roots, basically. So let me just switch this over. There it is.
My Raider roots, you know, that's when, like, you know, I was riding my bike as a kid and wrecked it and scraped my knee and silver blood came out, and that's how I knew, right? I stole that story. I had a fan tell me that story, so I reuse it. But
I would too.
Yeah.
So basically, the first question I have for you is where did your Raider fandom originate? Like how did you become a Raider fan?
Yeah, it was early 80s. We were LA Raiders at the time. So I grew up in Central California, near Visalia, California, which is really right in between Oakland and Los Angeles. It's right in the middle. And in the early 80s, you know, my older brother was a Raider fan and my mom was a Raider fan. And so it's all I ever knew. I don't remember a time before being a Raider fan. I think one of the most unfortunate things is the first Super Bowl I remember is the 84 season, 85 Super Bowl, which was Dolphins, Niners, Marino, and Montana. And the year after we won the Raiders, won the Super Bowl. So I don't remember that Redskin Raiders Super Bowl at all. I remember the party for the next year, but I don't remember the party that year. It's so weird. But I know that my older brother got to enjoy the 80 Super Bowl, the 83 Super Bowl. And, it's a kind of a fog to me. I don't really remember it, but you know, it was junior high because we were right in the middle. I just remember it was half of the school is 49er fans. Half of the school was Raider fans and Niner fans. And we just would always go at it. At lunch, we would have football games against each other. It was like Raiders, Niners, this whole thing. And, Niners made me.
Your mic keeps cutting out, I think.
My mic is cutting out?
Yeah, Nate, are you hearing that, or is it just me?
It's fine now, but yeah, I heard it a little bit.
That might have been my hand. I might have been messing with the bottom of the mic here. Check. Okay, how's that? How's that?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you heard that, but junior high, it got really serious with like Raiders versus Niners in my school, you know? And it's interesting because I've met Raider fans all over the country, and it's funny to see how which teams Raider fans dislike based on their geographical location. You know, I don't know. You guys, Jeff, you're New England area, right? Do you hate the Niners as much as like a Bay Area person does, or is it a different thing?
That's the thing. Like I don't have that same distaste for the 49ers because I didn't live out that way. You know, what I have is the distaste for the Patriots. Like that whole from the Tuck rule on has been a thorn in my side for years.
And you're,
granted, most Raider fans don't like the Patriots anyway, but that's where my distaste goes to. Like, I don't have a problem with 49ers fans. I know Raider fans, especially from the Oakland area, don't like 49er fans. So
that's true.
And I get it. I respect that.
Yeah, it's always been that way. And I think in California, it's so interesting because you have the Bay Area fans, you have the LA fans, but that whole area in between, Central Coast, Central Valley, is loaded with Raider fans, and they all joined at different times. But yeah, there's a thing again. In fact, a few years ago when the Niners and Chiefs played in the Super Bowl in Allegiant Stadium, it was really hard for some Raider fans to decide. And I know that the obvious answer is root against your division rival. That yes, but that was really, really hard to do because they have like family members and friends that are Niner fans that were going to give them so much crap, and they live there. You know, like you can be in California and not see a Chiefs fan for 3 years, but you're going to see a Niner fan every single day. So anyway, that's
yeah.
kind of my backstory. My first game was in the LA Coliseum against the Chargers, and I remember that well. Loved it. I mean, I didn't go to a lot of games. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't travel a lot, and being 3 hours north of LA, 3 hours south of Oakland, it was really tough. And even in my 20s, like in early 30s, when we moved back to the Bay, I tell you what was unfortunate is we moved from LA to Oakland, and the next year I moved from the Central Valley down to LA. So I missed them by 1 year. That was really hard. So occasionally, I would fly up to games in Oakland, but I wasn't going a lot because I didn't have the money. I was just starting, career, coming out of college, that sort of thing. And, I would go when I could, but I didn't live and breathe and die the tailgates in Oakland like many of the Bay Area fans did, but I watched every single game. And I know that there's fans like me all over the country that are diehard fans, even if they don't go to games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. 100%. I get it. Just real quick one, just shout out to the chat here. So Bueno's in the house.
What's up, Bueno?
D-Menace is here.
D-Menace.
Lewis, what's
Salute.
up, man? Zay, y'all seen anything about Tyron Johnson? I got a feeling he's going to retire. He ain't have a presser, posted none about the Raiders, and hasn't been in the building at all. Really?
What?
I didn't know about that.
I haven't heard anything about that either.
Raider Paul's in the house. What's going on, man?
What's happening, Paul?
Let's see. Predator's in the house. Sup, Jeff, Brian, Nate. Thank you for the $2 super chat, my guy. So
definitely. He
was there in Pittsburgh with us too, Mr. Predator. And there's my lovely wife. She's saying hi to you, Nate.
Hi, Don. But yeah, to stay on the topic of beginnings and things like that, I kind of wanted to get the start of your idea to get All In On and Win. Was it like a specific game, a moment, a person that inspired you to become like an online presence?
Yeah, that is a great question, and I think it was before we moved from the Bay to Las Vegas, I had started going to more games in Oakland. Not every game, but I had started going to more, and I just loved the tailgate there so much. And I remember thinking, like, this should be captured, right? But we moved to Las Vegas, and of course, our first year, 2020, there were no fans because of COVID, and so it was 2021. My first game in Vegas was we played the Eagles, and we did beat them that year in Allegiant, and it was, I just was blown away by the stadium, of course. And I think there was a lot of coming out of COVID. I had a lot of family stuff going on. My wife had just gotten through breast cancer. My mother passed away from breast cancer. And I had been at the same company for like 20 years. And I was at a point where I needed to leave the company. I just felt like it was time for a change. So I took some time off to try to spend it with my mom as her condition deteriorated. Unfortunately, she passed right before I finished working at the job. So, as a family, we got through that. And then suddenly I didn't have a job, and I was just kind of left with, I wasn't able to spend time with her. I was just kind of left with nothing to do. But she was a diehard Raider fan. And this was the season 2021. So this was the Gruden. Ooh. This was the Henry Ruggs, where we were on a trajectory to make the playoffs. And then suddenly the Chiefs blew us out like 50-something to 3. This was when I think we stood on the logo in the middle of their field. That was so dumb. Yeah,
dumbass move.
God. So suddenly we were 6-7, and it was like, oh my God, we're not going to make the playoffs. We were going to make the playoffs again for the first time since 2016. And, now here we are. It's a mess. And I wasn't ready for the season to be over. So I flew to Cleveland. We had 4 games remaining, and I flew to Cleveland. And this was supposed to be a Saturday game, and I flew there on Friday. But my layover in Dallas, suddenly it was announced the game's been moved to Monday because the Browns had all these COVID issues with their players.
Oh, right. I do remember.
You remember that? Mm-hmm. And so many fans in the Dallas airport were like, we can't stay. We're going home. I can't stay. But I went to Cleveland, and I just checked out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I drove down to Canton, and then I went to that game on Monday. We won it in the last second. And then I went to the next game at home. We won it in the last second. And then I went to the next game in Indy. We won it with a field goal last second. And then it was finally that Chargers game to make the playoffs. You guys know the one, the overtime game, the Derek Carr. you know. But it was that run of 4 games. We won all 4, made the playoffs, and I went to Cincinnati. But I really attribute it to the experiences in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Cleveland, because what I realized there, you know, ton of Raider fans, night before parties going on. And what I realized is that, hey, I had not traveled to games outside of California. I'd only gone to San Diego, LA, and Oakland, and then one game in Vegas before that. So I was finally experiencing this nationwide, the reason why it's called Raider Nation. And it wasn't just West Coast fans coming to the game in Cleveland. It was people in West Virginia, you know, New England, from the South, like people coming up from Atlanta, because it's not that far. It's just straight up north. There you are, you know. And I was blown away by how many people were fans living there. And I just thought, there's so many Raider fans in California that don't realize this. And there's so many Raider fans that may not be able to go to a game in Cleveland or, you know, other cities. And I thought, well, maybe I can capture those night before parties and capture the tailgate and bring it to them by posting it on YouTube. So that fall, when this 2022 season started, this is Josh McDaniels. This is a playoff team adding Devontae Adams, and somehow we were worse. I decided I was going to go to all 17 games. And so I did. And I vlogged each game. And it was really just, it was the start of All In Autumn Wind. It was start of the channel. You know, it took time to build up momentum and for people to get to know me. There were a lot of people the first couple games that looked at me like, you're not really going to all 17
And that was
games,
2021 you started that?
22 was when I did the all 17. Yeah. 21 was really the start because of those last 4 regular season plus the playoff. But 22, I went to all 17. And to this day, that season to me is more frustrating than 2021 because every game we had like 20-point leads that we would blow against the Jags, against the Chiefs, against, you know, the Cardinals. Like, that was painful. That was painful. There was a lot of up and downs that year. But anyway.
Just shout out to Severe with the gifted 5 memberships on my channel, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lewis says there's nothing like the Ocho Bay games. I agree. San Fran and LA Chargers team or LA teams I can't stand, as most can't. Who else popped in? Alex, say what's up, Alex. Dixon,
what up, Alex?
Say what's up.
Dixon Cider.
Let's see. We got Predator with a gifted membership. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you too, man.
Predator.
Even I went live while we were at the draft in Pittsburgh. I think it was Thursday night. After we got back to the hotel, him and I went live for about an hour or so. Let's see. But I said that was the reason why I started following Brian. It was nice seeing all the tailgating and games I couldn't make it to. So see,
awesome.
You did have a reach there, obviously, at that point.
That's great.
So I guess the next question is, what does All In actually mean to you personally beyond just being a brand? Like, what does it mean to you the most?
Yeah, I think that's something that's always been with me. And of course, I didn't invent this All In expression. It comes from poker, but a lot of teams have used it, like professional sports. I've seen them posted as banners, and, I remember the World Cup a few years ago, it was All In everywhere. That was like, maybe that was 8 years ago. But so obviously it has an established meaning. But for me personally, a lot of my family and friends know just my whole life, like when I get this idea, even if it's a bit crazy, they know I'm going to do it. There's not a lot of times where I say, okay, I have this idea and I'm going to do it. And everybody goes, yeah, right. And then I end up not doing it. That doesn't happen very often. If I say, okay, I'm going to do this, unless, I get hit by a bus, I'm probably going to do it. And I think that's all of that's for me what like that All In mentality is. I mean, maybe like it's not quite the same as Mamba mentality with Kobe Bryant, but because that's a little more like aggression. Mine's more like a commitment. It's a commitment. Like, no, I'm doing it 100%. Let's go.
Nice. So, as smaller creators, I always kind of had this question, and I think it's always fun to ask a bigger creator such as yourself is, how do you balance like your business side and the fandom side? Like, I'm sure it's probably pretty difficult when you go to tailgates. You want to just go crazy, like enjoy yourself. But like, is it difficult to separate the two, like your fandom and the business side?
Yes. I've gotten better at it. The first year I was a mess. There were some games I got really hammered and was having a really good time. And the problem is I would end up with 3 hours of footage that I couldn't use.
Oh, yeah.
Like all out of focus type thing.
Right.
Yeah, out of focus, a lot of slurred words and just,
there you go.
nonsense. Like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
Hey, but you know what? That shows the human side of you, so that's kind of cool. That's funny.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, another thing that was hard was just looking at myself and hearing myself, because when I started doing it, it's not like prior to All In Autumn Win, I wasn't doing stuff like this. I wasn't on social media posting things of myself. It wasn't, it was really hard at first. You start hearing the sound of your own voice, how other people hear it. And it's like, that's what I sound like. God, what a dork.
Yeah.
But eventually you get over it and you just say, okay, well, I'm doing this, so it doesn't matter. That's what you look like. That's what you sound like.
Yeah. I got one for you. Has it become harder for you to attend games since your visibility? And I mean, you're a celebrity. I mean, there's no toys about it. I mean, people see you. I see that hat and I spot you right away without even seeing your face. I see the hat. I know it's you. But has it been, since your celebrityism or your attention, your visibility has grown, is it tougher for you to attend games sometimes? Like people,
not at all.
You got a plan that you want to do, and then it gets, I don't know, thrown off, I guess.
It does get a little tricky timing sometimes, especially that game in New England week 1 this past season. You threw this massive tailgate party, and because of I know we'll get into this later, but the Guinness had some rules about transportation. I couldn't drive.
Yeah.
And, I took a train to the stadium, so I didn't have a lot of time, and I wanted to get footage, but I don't attribute to this anything to do with celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a fan. I'm just a fan who's trying to show other people like what's going on at these events. And the problem is, though, I've met everyone, not everyone, but I've met so many people and I've gotten to know so many people. So it's not a celebrity thing. It's hey, God, how you doing? I haven't seen you since 2023. We were in Detroit together. Yeah, I remember. And, and it's amazing because I don't have the best memory, but because of the editing after a game and going through the video and doing all this stuff, I end up remembering people very well. And it's like, oh, I remember you. Maybe not everybody's name, but I'll be like, yeah, we met in Detroit. We were, oh yeah. So that's really what it is. It's the going around and just seeing people that There's been more and more, especially, I'd say the last 2 seasons, there's been more of like people seeing me and going, hey, I was coming out of the draft on night 1, Thursday night, walking down the street back to my car, passing a Taco Bell, couple Raider fans sitting on the curb waiting for their Uber. And I just kind of did the Raiders, just to like say what's up. And they looked up and they're like, Raider. And the guy goes, oh, all in. He jumped up and that felt really good. It felt really good, but it's more people that I know than people that recognize me from the channel and from social media.
Just an offshoot from the same question. Do you have a case, and I think you probably do, is there an issue when people see you and they want to try and force themselves on you so they get on camera? Like, has that ever happened? Or they keep following you around, so maybe you'll interview them, and because they want that 5 minutes of fame that you're going to give them.
Well, that's Power Raider every time I see him, which is a lot. I hope he's watching. I hope he sees this.
We're going to clip that for sure.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But
my God,
but seriously, no, I love it. But it actually helps me because honestly, every time I go to a new game, a new stadium, there is a moment of, okay, how am I going to get this started? And like for the people that don't see me, there's always a scene of like, hey, can I get you on camera? There's an exchange there. And if somebody comes up to me and they obviously want to be on camera, it makes it easier. I just be like, hey, you want to be in here? And they're like, oh yeah. I could kind of tell sometimes when people want to get in, and I just start turning things on, and then I'll have it recording, and then I'll say, hey, do you want to be in here? And they say yes. I go, okay, and then we start filming. So yeah. It actually makes it easier, so I love that.
Did it take a while for you to like get over the nerves? Because I tried to do some like interview stuff at tailgates before, and I was like looking for people like, hey, do you want to be in an interview? Like, was it difficult for you to
Yes.
put yourself out there?
Yes, it really was. I was a mess the first couple of games, and like I think about the first couple of videos. There wasn't nearly as many interviews, really, and I had a breakthrough in Tennessee. I went there for Titans Raiders. We lost at the last minute. Carr threw it to Waller in the end zone to tie with the 2-point conversion, but we did not complete it, and we lost the game. And my wife went with me. And so if you've never gone to Nashville, please do. That's one to definitely check off, because that whole Broadway street is incredible. Just music everywhere. We did get a little carried away with the drinking that weekend, and we stayed longer. We went like Friday to Sunday. We kind of went together. So it was great. But the breakthrough was during the day before the game. It wasn't even the tailgate, just being on Broadway, that main strip there. During the day we had lunch, but I had my gear with me, and my wife wanted to go into a store to look at clothes or boots or hats or something. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to be out here. And then I pulled my microphone out and I just started walking around the street talking to people. And I think that was like the first time I was like, oh, yeah, this is the way to do it. I had better equipment that game. I was a little more mobile. Yep. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, I can do this, and just get like, people talking. People want to talk on a mic. They see somebody walking down the street. Most, not all. I've had a few people turn me down. Yeah.
Just real quick, shout out to Rafa with the $2.42 super chat.
Shout out, Raf.
And you were just on the show with him. I think it was last week.
Yeah, what a great guy.
Yeah, Rafa's awesome. Talk about a guy that just does not give up. I love Rafa. He's such a good dude.
Love Raf.
Check the chat. Make sure I haven't missed anything here so far.
Great story. Another guy. I mean, he's in the Carolinas. And sorry, Raf, I can't remember if it's north or south, but that's another example of like, how'd you become a Raider fan from the Carolinas? How does that happen? So everyone's got a story, and I love it.
Shout out to Bueno, one of my moderators here. Thank you for posting that up. So he's been putting your link in the channel every now and then in the chat. So
nice.
Just to remind everybody that's in watching, on the description for both channels, mine and Nate's, in the description is all of Brian's links for all his Autumn Wind, his X, his Twitter, well, same thing, Instagram, YouTube, everything's in there. So make sure you hit him up. If you don't follow him already, make sure you follow him. Make sure you check out the New England game from last year, because he interviewed me. And that was a good interview.
You got my
commented me on that one about
do you have my OnlyFans link in there?
Yeah, we do. Okay. We put that in there.
Power Raiders the only one who's subscribed at the moment, so
I'm not surprised.
Now you'll have two, Jeff too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, outside of the Raiders, what other teams or franchises are you a fan of?
Yeah, I grew up Raiders, Dodgers, Lakers. So it was all an LA mentality, even though I didn't grow up in LA. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, we have an expression in LA, but can I cuss? Can I cuss on this? You guys?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You can say what the hell you want.
Fuck Boston. That's the expression.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Agreed.
That's not right.
We're this podcast
folks,
is ending a little early.
But it's okay.
Thank you for your 25 minutes on the show, sir.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I agree. I'm from LA, so I can say fuck Boston as too.
What's up?
There we go.
Damn it, you've never said that before. Hey, who's the guy that wanted to go to Fenway Park when he was out here in New England last year?
I love
the guy
baseball.
over there on the far end. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense. You grew up an LA guy, right? I mean, you were born and raised in California, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense. Like everybody always asks me, like, how'd you become a Raiders fan? 70s. They were the only time we saw them was in the playoffs, and I've never been a Patriots fan and never will be. So that's how I became a Patriots fan.
There's an interesting thing with the generations, because in the 70s and early 80s, when we were really good, there weren't that many TV channels, and so there were certain teams that they would broadcast. It's like the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Raiders, and and then so you had people across the country become fans of these teams. I'd say Packers are in there too. And then what happens is they have kids, and then the kids become the fan, and then they have kids, and there's grandkids. So I mentioned West Virginia. I met a grandfather and grandson from West Virginia. And I was just like, why is that a thing? Why are there Raider fans of West Virginia? And it was exactly that. He was like, you know, he was talking about the Mad Bomber. He was talking about the Snake, and, you know, his kids and grandkids, they're Raider fans. So there you go.
Yeah, that was a problem out here. Obviously, the Patriots, back in the day, Patriots were never on TV because they couldn't sell out. Yeah. So even if they were home, they couldn't sell out. You would see them on the road. That was it. Yeah. Big up here was the Giants, because that was the next major market to us. It was New York. That's why there's so many Giants fans up in New England. But they're all older, much older than me, you know, because it goes back that far. And that's how I got to watch the Raiders, was in that 70s to 80s run. Yeah. You know, we talked about this before, too. The other thing that really helped propel Raider Nation and attract fans was the whole 80s hip-hop scene coming out of California with NWA and all the Raider gear. I mean, you bought the NWA CD or cassette. They all had Raider gear on it, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And you wanted to dress like them, so you went out and bought that stuff, you know? So that helped really spread Raider Nation.
There were many schools in Southern California and Central California that would not allow people to wear Raiders to school because of that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they thought it was like gang-affiliated type of stuff. And because of NWA, unfortunately. But let me just see here. I think we got everything. Yep, we're caught up on the chat. All right, good. Thank you, everybody, for being in here tonight. We appreciate everybody being in here. This has been fun so far. We're not even done yet. So that was, where did we just leave off here? So that was that. Okay, so now we're going to get into the Guinness World Record talk. But before we do that, I want to play the video that you sent me the link for. So we're going to put this up, and we're going to let this play. Let me just get the banner off of here real quick. Okay, and play.
It's time to go to all 32 stadiums. The current record is 74 days. Good night for football. Oh my God, we got it. Okay, let's play some football. I got a flight at 6 a.m. Unbelievable game. Absolute disaster. The blue really popped. Oh boy, this place got quiet in a hurry. This game is for the birds.
Just for the record, I really hate the Chiefs, okay?
Sucking, that's what we're doing. Wow, what a game! To the Guinness World Record team, I really appreciate the opportunity. This journey means so much to me. I'm getting a little emotional right now. The fastest time.
And you know what? I got to ask this. This isn't one of our planned questions, but I have to ask you this. That video ended with the perfect ending. You at Allegiant Stadium getting to light the torch. What did that mean to you? That had to mean I would have had a tear in my eye if you did. I totally understand it.
Yep.
I did. I cried. I you know, when I was on the stage, I didn't cry, but when they called me, I did. And I'll tell you, and we'll talk more about the Guinness journey, but the journey was exhausting. And it was, you know, I was in touch with the Raiders throughout the season. They knew what I was doing. They were aware. They were kind of monitoring. They asked me for updates every now and then. And it was Sandra Douglas Morgan at training camp. I told her, I said, I got this idea. This is what I'm doing. She's like, well, if you do this, maybe there's some way we could recognize that in the stadium at the end of the season. And I just thought, okay, it's maybe they'll put a little thing on the screen, or, you know, it'll last 10 seconds and that'll be it. You know, I think there was a little bit of like fantasy of, oh, what if the torch? Ha ha ha. Yeah, right. But it was after week 17. I was flying back on a Tuesday from whatever Monday night game I was at on the East Coast. And I was in a bus because I wasn't allowed to drive cars. And the Ubers were too expensive, especially from LAX to my home. So I would take public transportation, right? And so I'm in a bus full of people, and I get the call, and I see it's the contact at the Raiders. And I was like, I got to take this. So I take the call on the bus, and it was two gentlemen with the Raiders. And, you know, they said they wanted to congratulate me because I had already beaten one record. I was getting close to the next. So they congratulated me, and they said, we love this story that you've built. Like, you've created this story out of nothing, and it's awesome. And they said we've ran it by Mark, and he signed off. He said, get it done, call him right now, and we're calling you. We'd like you to light the torch. And I have, like, get me a little bit right now. I had tears coming down, and I was so exhausted. I like slept in an airport the night before, and then minutes later, I'm home walking through the front door, and my wife opens the door, and I couldn't even get the words out. I was like, they asked me to light the torch, and I was like breaking down, and she started crying. It was a mess. Yeah. So that was very humbling. It feels weird because I know that I did something good, and I wore Raiders the whole time. So I get it. But at the same time, lighting the torch, John Madden was the first to do it when Al passed away, and it's players, it's legends. It's, it's just, I think Vegas is doing a good job trying to get that fan appreciation element in there. And I think that's part of it. And 2 years ago, there was the Black Hole was up there, Violator, Gorilla, they as a group, they lit the torch. So I think, it's just incredibly humbling is what it is, and an amazing honor.
I mean, I remember watching it when it happened. Like, that was just awesome to see. I think Leo was at that game, wasn't he, Nate?
Yeah, he was at that game.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I think he took pictures because I think he was standing there. Somebody was, because I remember seeing pictures that it wasn't.
He was
from
behind.
He
was like at the bar right there.
Yeah.
One of the that day was just incredible because I had a couple of friends come into town for it. They just were so supportive. And while I was on the stage, maybe like 25 minutes before everything really started, but I was already up there. They have you do some things like you sign a plaque that then gets installed at the base of the torch. And so cool. I just heard 2 nights ago, I was at this Hispanic Football Hall of Fame ceremony at Raiders headquarters. And I talked with somebody from the Raiders area. He said, hey, we just installed your plaque. It's there. So the next time you go, you're going to see it at the bottom of the torch, But then I turn around, I hear somebody yell all in. I turn around, and my dad and my brother were there, and they were not supposed to be there at all. So that was the one moment of the day that really, really got me. But, honestly, one of the best things was before our game started, before lighting the torch, there was a scenario with the Giants and Cowboys. I don't know what, but the Giants won a game, and it made us the first pick. It decided before our game even started. And that was like a huge release because I wanted the number 1 pick. But I don't like taking. I have such a hard time rooting against the Raiders especially when I'm at a game, and for that to be settled before the game started was like a huge weight off. Yeah. And then we won the game, and we won it with like a 60-yard field goal from Daniel Carlson, his going away present to us, And it just, that felt great to win the game, to light the torch, to not have to worry. I even had some Raider fans complain that we won the game because, well, I know we got the first pick, but that meant we got a later pick in the second round and the third round because then we were tied. There was a whole rotation thing.
I get
I was like, come on, guys.
Like, come on.
I mean, the 32nd pick versus the 35th pick, like, you still got to make a good pick regardless, and we could have had the 32nd pick and pick someone bad. So you just don't know. And that's why it's not worth it to me to get so focused on that positioning of the draft. It really bothers me. This is a game that you're supposed to go out and play and you're supposed to win. I get it. Even I was like, okay, it's fine. We're losing all these games. We're going to get the number 1 pick. There was a point when I succumbed and I gave into it, but I am not a tank guy. I'm not like, tank. But anyway.
Anthony, but I got to get one. Anthony just said the Predator. He goes, it's an honor to have that all-in autumn wind patch on his vest. I need to get one for my vest. I didn't know you had a patch. I don't know.
I'll mail you one. Yeah. I don't know. I might step away and grab one here, but it's. I
need to get one of them because I will put that on in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, perfect. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. If you see me looking to my right, it's because I got a bigger monitor over here and I got bad eyes, so I can see everything easy. So it's not that I'm ignoring you, just to let you know.
No worries.
So, all right. So this again, we're going to ask the questions based on your Guinness journey. So basically, what inspired you to start this whole world record attempt? Because at the time when you started it, it was just an attempt at that point. Because when you sit there looking at it, it's like, man, this is going to take forever. But what inspired you to start that?
Okay, so I mentioned going to all 17 games in 2022, but I continued that in 23 and 24. So I eventually had a streak of 59 Raider games home and away consecutive that I had gone to. I hadn't missed any. And in doing that, I started to connect with other fan bases a bit. And then I went to 2 drafts. This most recent one was my 3rd, but I went to Detroit when we got Bowers, and I went to Green Bay when we got Genty. And it was being around the other fans at the draft, because the draft is one of my favorite events of the year. And I often say it's like Comic-Con for football fans, and everyone's there having a good time. That, you run into Chiefs fans, there's no games, so you're not really going at it, maybe some, joking around here and there, but everyone's there for the same reason, to have a good time and see, and to get better. The records are 0-0. No, nobody's ahead. Nobody sucks. Everyone has hope. Really awesome experience. And so in 2024, our season was bad. We only won 4 games, and that gave us the 6th pick. And, that's when a lot of people were tank for Shador, and then he went 5th round. So, but it was like, my first love is the Raiders, but then for 3 years doing the Raider games, I fell in love with Raider Nation, and just like, on an individual level, not the concept of Raider Nation. I've always loved that, but like the people of Raider Nation, that's a little different. And then it's these other fans that, like, they have the same feelings that we do about our team, and the same hopes, and they're going to win the Super Bowl every year. It's like, the same delusional stuff that we have. And it was just really good. That's right. So I just, we were so bad in 24 with only 4 wins, and I had done it for 3 seasons in a row. And there was just a kind of a question of, am I just going to do the same thing again? Am I going to go to the Raider games? And I had seen a couple years before, I had seen a post about one of the records I attempted. And at that moment, years ago, it had stuck in my head, like, I may want to try something like that eventually. And it was just, you know what? I've been to a couple drafts. I know some people in the league around there with other teams. I've done the traveling for Raiders, so I've got that down. And I think it's time. Raiders were bad, and I think we're not going to be that great again. And I was right. We only got 3 wins. Picked a good season to do it, really. But I still saw like 11 Raider games. So, no, 11 or 13. I can't remember now. But I still went to a lot of Raider games during this Guinness run. But that's what made me want to do it. It was just doing something more, expanding not just the Raider games, but other games in this record. The record that the 2 records. Should I explain what the records were? Is now a good time for that?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think you have the plaque. You can hold the plaque.
I do. Oh yeah, I do. Here's one of them. I have 2 of these. Yeah. There you go.
You got 2. Some people don't even have 1, and you got 2 of them in one time too.
I did. Doing it simultaneously was a little tricky, but you, by the way, you also have to pay for the play. You have to buy it. So that's
They don't just give it to you?
No, I think they have so many records. They get like 40,000 applications every year. So I think if they were just doling out these certificates and these plaques, I think it'd be very costly for them,
Well,
but
just the one thing real quick, I just want to comment how much these records mean too, because think about it, this isn't a record for chewing the gum for the most hours and whatever. This is something that accumulated over months and months, and how many air miles, taxis, trains, buses, whatever it was.
Yeah,
you talk about commitment. Again, you basically scream commitment to excellence is what this comes down to, in my opinion. You doing what you did and how much this took to do that. I'd be exhausted after the first 3 weeks if I even made it that far. Okay?
I was too. You're right though, because to this day, my closest friends and family, they'll send me links to records. I think all of their algorithms have a little bit of Guinness in it now because of what I did. And they'll, the worst one, I just remember somebody sending me the most fist bumps within a minute. And it's two guys going like this with both hands for 1 minute, and they got a Guinness record. And I was thinking, wait, that's all I had to do? $0,
Right.
1 minute at home. Damn it. I'm an idiot, not smart. So yeah, but okay. So back to the records. The first record I was aware of from a few years ago was the fastest time to attend a game at every stadium. And there was a gentleman who had done that. And I think he had done it fairly low profile. He wasn't putting it on social media like I was, which eventually I became to regret a little bit because it added to the anxiety and the pressure and the fear of it failing publicly. You know what I mean? Like if I failed, there started creeping in doubts and worries about that. But that record was the fastest time to attend a game at every stadium. So you had to go to 32 games because you go to LA twice and you go to New York twice, once for each team. And he did it in 74 days and so many hours. And then I did it in 72. The thing about that record is that I think a lot of people overlook that one and they go to the other record, which is the most games attended in a season. Mm-hmm. And that one I did 56 games, right? So that's every Thursday, Sunday, Monday for 4 months going to a game, traveling constantly the entire season. And it is impressive. But I think because it's like, wow, you went to 56 games, people really gravitate towards that one. But there's something about the other record that was actually harder and riskier. And what it is first of all, okay, so let me explain it like this. In order to get the most games, all you got to do is pick a game and go to it. It could be anything. In fact, I live in LA. The Rams and Chargers both live here. So every Sunday I could have been going to a game here. And that would have knocked off, 17, 18 games. Mm-hmm. And then I could have hit Arizona or, 49. I would be a little beholden to wherever the Thursday night game is, wherever the Monday night game is. I'd have to travel there. But I could have knocked a lot of games out in LA. And I did not do that because, number one, I wanted to go to Raider game. So week 1, I flew out to see you in New England, went to that Patriots game, got a win, thought we were going to be good and was completely wrong. But, when I could, exactly. Yeah. When I could, I was going to Raider games. So that was a little bit unnecessary, additional travel and costs that I didn't need to do. In fact, the person who had the record for the most games before me was an LA Charger fan. And it was actually 2 women, LA Charger fans, and they went to a lot of Chargers games. And then they flew to other cities for, they had 33 and I surpassed it and went to 56. So that record is impressive. And I love that record. And to do 56, it's the one that resonates with people. But I'll tell you why the other one's harder and a little more precious in a way to me, because number one, you have to figure it out before the season starts. In order to go to all 32 teams in the fastest time, you can't just go willy-nilly. You have to plot it out. And there were only I built a crazy Excel sheet to figure it out. There were only 3 ways to beat the previous record. And I chose the one that was the fastest, right, of those 3. But you have to spend a lot of time mapping it out because you don't know, should I start week 1? And if I do start week 1, do I start on the Thursday? Do I start on the Sunday? Do I start on the Monday? It depends on how the days lay out. It depends on things like Black Friday helps. So you want that to be a part of it. So if you start too early in the season, you're not going to get Black Friday. So it's not going to be as fast. You really need, and you can't rely on the end of the season, those Saturday games that we get at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You can't, because they're not, they're TBD. They don't book them until the end of the season. And if you've already gone to that stadium where the game is, you're screwed. So you can't go into those at all. Those Saturday games aren't going to help you. So planning it was really hard. And then once you start, the problem is if you miss one game, you're done. You cannot make it up. You can't recover. because it's so mapped out and so precise. There's no way to make it up. You miss that Thursday night game, you've just lost like 3 days, and now you're over the 74 days that was the previous record. So that created a lot more anxiety for me. With the 56, the most games, you know, to be honest, when I first started talking about it, I would just say I'm going to over 50 games. I wouldn't even say 56 because I assumed I would miss something. I assumed there would be like a travel issue or, you know, whatever. And I was kind of hoping like at least get 50. I got all 56 that I planned to do. Every game on which there was every day on which there was an NFL game, I was at a game. I got all 56, and that was like a miracle, and I got very lucky and fortunate. But that other record, it's, you know, it started September 18th, the fastest one, right? It started week 3 on a Thursday night, and it ended November 30th, the Thanksgiving weekend, in New York at a Jets-Falcons game. Terrible game. 2 teams with no hope. It was raining. It was terrible. But miserable. I got really emotional at that game because that was the end of the fastest time to all 32. And that was like, once that was done, all of December, I really got to just enjoy it more. It was more relaxed. It was like, if I missed something, I had already beaten that one too. I had beaten that one when I got to 33 games several weeks before, you know. So I was just kind of constantly beating a record for the most games. Every time I went to a game was a new record, but I wasn't as worried about that one, you know. But that's the one that people gravitate to because it's so many games. It's a lot. Yeah. But that fastest time was really tough. A lot of anxiety.
Chat, if you guys have any questions for Brian, put it in the chat. I'm starring them. We'll go back to them, but we will ask him those questions that you guys have asked. So I see that Bueno had one in so did D-Menace. Nate, go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny that you talk about that you were kind of anticipating, you know, missing one, which you obviously didn't end up doing. You didn't miss any of them. But what was your closest call, you know, that you had to possibly even missing a game? Did you have one at all?
It is really amazing. I don't know how. I just did not have travel issues. There was even the government shutdown going on, and I thought for sure that was going to get me. I think the reason why I did so well is because, and I didn't plan this, I think it just worked out this way. I took mostly red eyes or flights that would leave at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I think if you take midday flights, when things start getting bumped, that's when the chaos starts. But if you take that 6 a.m., 5 a.m. flight, everything still runs smoothly at that point. So what I would do is, you know, a lot of people think of a week of football like from Thursday to Sunday. So you must have flown out on Thursday and come back, you know, Monday or Tuesday, right? No. What I would do is on Wednesday night at midnight, I'd go to LAX, I'd take a red eye. Most of the games are like Midwest or East Coast, right? Because that's where the majority of the teams are. I'd take a red eye out, let's say to the East Coast, land in that city, maybe rest in the airport a little bit, but then go to the tailgate, go to the game, and then I'd go back to the airport and I'd sleep for like 3-4 hours in the airport, and I'd get on a plane and fly back to LA on Friday morning. Jeez. It was just like, boom. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One was I am married and I'm still married. And I think it's because I did that because I was constantly coming home. Right. But the main reason was the cost. If I flew out on a Wednesday or Thursday and saw the Thursday night game and then stayed in a hotel Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night to get to the Sunday game, it was cheaper to fly home than it was to have those 3 nights at a hotel. And so that's why I did it. And it was nice to come home because
plus the airfare home too after that.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
Exactly. So it was also to recharge because I wouldn't have to pack a huge suitcase. I could travel really light, you know, just fly there, fly back. And I could like get home. And even though my mind was mush, I was just often kind of like out of it because I'd be operating on very little sleep. I could just recharge for a day or two at home, shower, get all my things recharged, including my gear, and then fly out again Saturday night to do it again on the Sunday. Now the Sunday, Monday games I'd do together. There was no time to fly home, but I'd do Sunday, Monday, and then fly back Tuesday morning. And a lot of times I'd stay in a hotel on Monday night. Sorry, I'd stay in an airport on Monday night. So really the only time I was staying in a hotel was on Sunday night. That was the one, like, you know, blessing, was like going to a game on Sunday, going to a hotel, sleeping, and then flying to the next city on Monday. But yeah, I think that's why, honestly, the scariest thing that I had related to travel was week 18. I was at a Saturday game in San Francisco. It was the Seahawks 49ers. The next day was Raiders Chiefs, and I was supposed to light the torch. I had a flight on Sunday morning originally booked. Before I knew I was lighting the torch, I had a flight on Sunday morning. And as soon as they told me that, I thought, wait a minute, do I really want to fly Sunday morning? What if something goes wrong? What if I miss it? What if I don't light the torch? Like, oh my gosh. So I booked a second flight for Saturday night. And I took that flight, but I had to go from Santa Clara up to San Francisco because, you know, the Niners don't play anywhere near San Francisco, by the way. Yeah. And the flight was delayed like two hours. And I started getting worried, like, oh, this is going to be the one. Here we go, right? This flight's going to get canceled. And then that flight on Sunday morning was actually out of Santa Clara. So I was thinking, I'm going to have to go back to Santa Clara. What if that flight's canceled? Like, that was the scariest moment. But it did eventually take off. I got to Vegas around 3 a.m. on the Sunday morning that I was lighting the torch. So I went straight to the hotel, hit the bed, slept for like 4 or 5 hours, and then got up and started going. So that was the scariest moment, was week 18. It was mostly because of the torch. That's why I was scared. God,
could you imagine if you were so tired you slept through your alarm and you didn't get up?
I know.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. I have fantasized about every possible scenario going wrong. I would just sit there, you know, just like the anxiety just would off the charts.
If I'm not mistaken, because you were at the Philly game that I went to during that massive snowstorm that ripped through the area.
Yes.
You had just landed, and I think I'd sent you a text while you were still on the plane to let you know where we were in the parking lot. And then I remember seeing your video later on of you walking through the snow, pretty much coming from wherever you were at that time, coming to where we were, because you had just landed like a couple hours before the game started.
That's right. I took a red eye. Yeah.
So that was a close one too.
It was close. And I think what helped me is that I had been to Philly a couple of times before that. And so I had my route. I knew the train system from the airport to downtown.
There you go.
I had my hotel, you know, already planned. And then from the hotel, there's a subway line that goes directly to the stadium. So, you know, I kind of just went to the hotel, threw my stuff down, got on the train, went to the game, and then, you know, really passed out after the game. That one's interesting because at that point, that was in December. And at that point, I had already finished the fastest time record. That was done, right? And I was still going for the most games. And I had planned on going to this Raiders-Eagles game in Philly. But the snowstorm was happening on Saturday night. And I was thinking, like, this might be it. This is where something's going to go wrong with the flight. I'm not going to be able to land. It's going to be too crazy. And I was actually thinking there was a Rams-Vikings game happening here in LA at SoFi, 3 miles away from my house. And I thought, should I just go to this game instead? Should I not risk it? Maybe go to this game because it, you know, for the most games, it doesn't matter. But it was Raiders and it was a snow game. And I just thought, like, oh man.
Oh yeah, that was fun setting up the tailgate and that crap. That was awesome.
And I hadn't been around Raider fans for a long time because during that 32 game stretch of the fastest record, it was all other cities. It wasn't Vegas. And, you know, I got lucky. There was one game in Vegas during that time, but one game in Denver, that Thursday night game, Raiders Broncos. So I had 2 games in that 32 stretch of Raiders, but it had been a while. So I ended up deciding, no, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to fly to Philly because I want to be around Raiders and get like that, you know, that boost. Because that's what it'd be. Every time I'd see Raider fans, it'd be this boost and it would like push me. It'd keep me going. Because I think
the best part about you coming out to that Philly game, which I think you didn't know at the time, I knew that Friday night or that weekend, there were a bunch of fans that came out from the Bay Area for that game in Philly. There was a huge amount of Oakland fans or Oakland residents and Bay residents because they were playing. The DJ that was there from the Philly TBH chapter was dropping a lot of West Coast music.
That's right.
They were eating it up. until some idiot Eagles fan walked by and unplugged the generator.
Oh yeah, I got that. I got that on film because wait, who was the Raider fan that went after him? Gosh, I'm gonna go back and watch.
I think it was one of the guys from TNBC, but it was me too. We were all walking towards him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If that guy didn't have someone holding him back, the Raider fan you're talking about, he would have got a hold of the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That kid had a set of balls. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean Philly. You know, a lot of people talk about the Philly fans being. I'm sorry, not Phillies, but the Philadelphia fans being the worst. And I get it. It's probably the right answer. I just think it's a little misinterpreted because I think the real thing is that these fans in Philly, their culture, the way they grew up is to be very chirpy. They talk, but they expect it back. They're not just trying to just beat you and demean you and it's actually a way of communicating there, and they go at it and they want it back, and they want it back in a way that's not necessarily a fight. It certainly does escalate to that, yes, of course, but it's just they're loud and they're passionate and they get into it, and that's how they do it. And I think people misinterpret it as like they're the nastiest fans in the world. It's just
I'd go back to Philly again because that was my biggest worry because I was taking Dawn with me, my wife. So I'm like, do I really want to do this? But I'm like, nah, that's fine. And where we sat, we were the only Raider fans. We were surrounded by Eagles fans, and the two guys behind me were bigger than me, and we hit it off with them. We were talking with them the whole time because you know why? They hate the Patriots. So we had common ground.
There you go. So there you go. A lot of it's what you bring into it, because even if people aren't chirping at you, if you go back and are aggressive, then it might escalate. But if you go back and you chirp a little bit too and have fun with it, it doesn't get bad. I didn't have any problems like that. So and I saw the Eagles a lot, by the way, because they had won the Super Bowl the year before. So it's like they had a lot of primetime games over. I think I saw them 11 times. Yeah.
Was there ever a moment during your record attempt that you almost stopped? And if so, what kept you going?
Never. There was never a moment where I was going to stop. I can tell you there was a moment when I was at my lowest and I was really, really down. It was right in the middle of the whole damn thing. And the reason that I was so down is because, Guinness had a lot of guidelines. And I told you one of them about the driving. You can't drive. I couldn't have my wife drive me to the airport or anything like that. I could take taxis, I could take Uber, but I realized very quickly that those add up. The price just, it'd be like $80 to get to an airport. So I got really good at public transportation, but the fastest time that record required more. I really thought that they would have the same guidelines. The two records would have the same guidelines because you're just going to a football game. Why would they be different? But the fastest time required additional things. And okay, so they both required the no driving. I mentioned that, but they both required that I had to get 2 fans to fill out a form in every stadium. Okay, so they both required that. But the fastest time required that I have an employee fill out a form. And it also required a GPS tracking device. The problem that I had was a Thursday night game at SoFi. It was a Chargers game. It's 3 miles from my house. I go to the game on a bus. I'm at the game, and halfway through the game, the GPS tracking device died.
Oh.
And I suddenly thought to myself, oh my gosh, they might not count this game. And since for the fastest record, you need all 32 games, I really thought I'm not getting this record. I'm not getting it. That's it. I'm done. There wasn't a lot of communication with Guinness. It was a lot through a portal where you could submit questions and then 3 weeks later they would answer. By the way, I have about 5 questions that I asked during the Guinness run that still haven't been answered. So it wasn't like I had a contact. I didn't have a person where I could be like, hey, this happened. How does this go? I didn't have anybody to talk to. So after that game, Friday and Saturday, I was really sick about it. And then I had to fly out on Sunday to go to, or Saturday night to get to New Orleans. I had a New Orleans game and a Kansas City game. And those 2 games were, I was at my lowest. I was very depressed. I think even the video I did for Kansas City was 10 minutes as opposed to 25 to 30 minutes because I just wasn't feeling it. I was really, really down because I just felt like that record's over. That riskier record, it's done. And after that weekend, I had to reset and say, you know what? You don't know anything. You don't know what's going to happen. You just got to keep going. And mainly, you got to pull your head out of your ass. Because if you're going to keep posting stuff online, nobody wants to see a crybaby. Nobody wants to see, you being all upset or worried. Like, this is football. It's supposed to be fun. So I had to pull my head out and keep going. And at the end of the day, they did approve that game because I had all the video, I had all the pictures, I had the witness forms, I had the employee sign. There was all this. And I think it's a thing where they require like 10 things. And if you get 9 of them, you're probably good, and I think that's what it was in the end. So I
remember you and I talking. I forget where. I think it might have been in Philly. There was something with a signature at a stadium. Was that the game? Was that the one? That's the one you talked to me about.
That was a different one, but that was around the same time. It was like right in the middle of the city, right in the middle of the season, and it was in Cleveland. I spent most of the second half in that stadium not watching the game. I was with their guest services. And I started with the lady on, the 300 level where I was sitting, and she was very nice and she wanted to help me, but she said, I'm not sure if I can fill this out. And so she sent a little message to her group chat of guest services, and they came back with a no. It was just no. And I was like, wait, just no? Like, no, hold on. Can I talk to somebody else, And they were like, no, you can't talk to somebody else. We're too busy with the game. There's a game going on, and it was just like, wait, why are they being so the lady that was helping me said, I'll take you down to the 100 levels to the main guest services office. And we went in there, and the people were just not nice. It was almost like I was some bad customer who was being annoying, some Karen or something. And they were just immediately defensive. And just fortunately, the guy who made the decision, I did not meet in person, but fortunately he was part of this, and he's the one that was saying no. But he gave his email and the general guest services email, and they said, look, we're not doing this today. You're not getting it. Send an email. So I left that
signature, right?
Oh God, this thing would have taken 5 seconds. It's really ridiculous. But I think they tried to say that they had some corporate training recently, and everybody, it's like corporate. The fans were easier. The fans, it was like, hey, I'm doing a Guinness World Record. This is what it is. Like, oh my gosh, would you mind signing the form? Yes, of course. Let's do it. They're sitting there putting their email, their phone number. But the employees, and from that point forward to the end of the season, every stadium, I then got worried. It was like anxiety building up again about asking the employee to sign every single time. And the second worst was Allegiant.
Really?
Yep. Because I went to guess
the one that you would have the easiest time at, right?
Yeah. But that, of course, it was fun. I got it. Well, let me just finish the Browns. So the Browns, I left the stadium without the signature, but I sent the email on Monday, and then a week later he sent it back. So there was a week where I didn't know. It was another thing of am I not going to get this record? I don't know. And
but you got to keep going though.
But I got to keep going. Yeah. Yep. So I just kind of, you put it away and you keep going. And then the Raiders, the Allegiant one, I went to guest services, and the lady at the desk said, let me get the manager. And the manager was right there. So I got to talk to him face to face, and he kind of got on, and then he came back and he's like, sorry, we can't do it. And I was like, you guys, if Allegiant is the one that makes the record fail, this is going to be crazy. And I tried to explain to him, I've been doing this whole thing. I'm in touch with some of the Raiders organization. And it's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, could I talk to the director, who said no? And so I had to wait a few minutes. The gentleman came down. We had a good chat. It was all friendly. It was much better than Cleveland in that regard. But he's like, look, I'm really sorry. We're just not going to be able to do it. And I was like, can I talk to the next person? He's like, we can't just keep bringing people out here to tell you the same answer. And I was like, wow. And I started already thinking okay, who am I going to contact to get somebody to fill this out? Through the other contacts. I just felt like I'll get this some way. But then he suddenly got a call, and he was like, I need to take this. Stay right here. I'll be right back. And he went outside, and I kind of watched him. And then he came back and he says, okay, I can fill it out. And I was like, man, someone behind the scenes was aware or made an extra call or something. I don't know what it was, but he just came back and said, okay, I can do it. So that was such a relief. But yeah, that was stressful. That was also why I got emotional at the final game of the fastest time to all 32. That was the Jets Falcons terrible game. I got emotional there because the GPS tracking went away, the employee signature went away. It was just it was a release on so many levels. Many levels. It was like, oh, thank goodness.
So, and we thought the Cleveland Browns football team was the one that was disorganized. Well, obviously their entire state within their organization is too. Holy crap.
Oh, boy.
Right.
I want to just hit a couple of comments here since you're talking. I see Steeler mascot Troy's in the house, which
mascot Troy
times, right? But I got to meet him him and I had a real good talk in Pittsburgh at the draft. So he was a super nice guy.
Yeah,
so he's stopping in to say hey. And Jason, what he says is what Brian did is not just an accomplishment, but an ode to what all fans should embrace. Thanks, Brian, for your dedication.
Thank you. That means a lot.
What's up, Anthony? What's up, Jason Marshall, Jason Downs? I see all you guys in here. Thank you for being here with us. For those of you who don't know who this gentleman is, which I can't imagine you don't if you're a Raiders fan, this is Brian Fowler from All In Autumn Win, the gentleman that broke the record during this past NFL football season. So, Nate, you're up, brother.
So, what did it take behind the scenes that that people aren't really gonna know about, really? Because for me, like what I kind of want to know too is how did you get all the editing done? Like you were so busy with everything. Like that seems like almost an impossible task.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked because honestly, when I think about 2022, the first season I was trying to make videos, vlogs of the Raider games, it would take me a week to do a video because I was learning how to do it and just kind of fumbling my way through it. When I was taking this on to do 50, that was just 17 games in one season to do videos. This was 56. And I was kind of committed to, in addition to doing the record, actually putting out a vlog for each one. Which I also thought for posterity would be nice for me. Like 10 years from now, I'll go back to those videos and be like, damn.
Yeah.
But I had gotten much faster at the editing. That's important. I let go of a lot of things with editing that I used to focus on, or I was trying to add like little sound effects or graphics or things. I let go of a lot of that and just made it the video. And I tried to I cut less. Like I didn't get into editing like, oh, let me take this part out and move this around. It would just be more like, look, I talked to this person for 2 minutes. Here's the 2 minutes, and then move on to the next. And then, film the scenery. And I would film B-roll. And for these 56 games, I would kind of just let the B-roll play as I filmed it with the audio that was there. Whereas previously I would like sometimes try to add a song and then edit clips into the song to make it like your intro video, for example. I didn't do any of that during this because there wasn't time. But to be honest, what I would do is, those Thursday night games, I would fly home. Like I said, I would sleep in the airport after the Thursday night game. So if I could, I would start there. At the very least, I would transfer all of the video and audio onto my laptop, get it all set up, fly home, and then on Friday spend a few hours. I got it to where I could do it like 2 to 3 hours once it was all set up. Yeah, I think total it'd be like 4 to 5 hours
a day, let alone 2 or 3 hours. Holy crap!
Yeah, I really just started making it more of a factory and was pumping it out. It got tricky with Sunday, Monday because it was like after the game on Sunday, I'd be in a hotel, but I'd be so exhausted, and I'd try to do it. Maybe I'd finish it Sunday night. Maybe I'd finish it Monday morning. But I kind of had to get it out before I went to the Monday game because at that point I would have a whole new set of footage to deal with, so I couldn't let it get it backed up. Yeah, that was important.
I think what some people probably don't realize too is he's not just going to the stadium and going into the stadium. He's going to the tailgates. He's walking around the lots outside before the game starts. And then when he gets in the stadium, he's not just sitting in a seat watching the game. I mean, you watch his videos. He's constantly moving around the stadium. Like he's not sitting there just paying attention to the game. He's talking to fans. And so I could see how you're exhausted. That's a lot of freaking walking, depending on where it is. The weather also has a factor in that. You know, like Philly, it snowed. New England, it was raining out the whole time. And then you go to Miami and it's like 110 degrees and the humidity is about 1,000. You know, that takes a lot out of you. You know, so I could definitely see where you'd be exhausted after that.
I made it so much harder on myself. Like if I wasn't blogging it, you know, I could have just done maybe Instagram with little clips here and there, but I was trying to do this whole blogging thing. And, you know, I made it harder there. I also made it harder by trying to go to Raider games because I could have, like I said, I could have just gone to games in LA. Yeah, you're right. I didn't have to go to the tailgates. It was a lot, but it was worth it. You know, at the end of the day, my back was killing me from too much standing, too much walking, too much sleeping in airplane seats and airports.
We're not 20 years old anymore, Brian.
Oh God!
I know you're younger than me, but we're not 20 years old anymore. Not like this guy at the other end. He can do all that.
I'm barely 20 years old.
Oh, I gained 20 pounds too, by the way, during that journey.
How is that possible? Stadium food.
It's stadium food and airport food, because I was kind of living off that for a good 4 days out of the week, you know, and it's not there's not a lot of healthy options. And, you know, sometimes I gotta be honest, I never really got drunk during the Guinness run, but I definitely would get to a stadium and just be like, I need a beer. I just need a beer, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, it's like the beers are like the big
the king
for
size,
25 bucks, right?
It's like a mini keg in your hand, yeah.
So yeah, there were some beers, and there was stadium food, and there was airport food, and I was moving around a lot, and I actually thought like, maybe I'll get in shape a little bit. It was the complete opposite. My body broke down. I wasn't getting enough sleep. My metabolism was a mess. No, it was bad. Yeah.
Troy says, "Thank you, Brian, for your heart and talent to present NFL superfans in the most positive light. Love you, man. All in." Yeah, I saw the video. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, go check out the video. Probably one of your last ones you put out there, actually, was from the NFL draft that weekend. He was there for the Superfan poker tournament that they had on Wednesday night. And I was there that night. And, man, I've never seen so many Superfans. Me personally, because I don't get to, go to a lot of games like, some people do. But when you go to the draft, again, you're dealing with teams from all over the league. And to see all these different fans from all these different teams, it's like, oh, I've seen that guy on TV. I've seen that guy on TV before.
It was strange for me because I connected with so many of these fans at their individual stadiums, including mascot Troy. I connected with him in Pittsburgh at a game. Philly sports guy in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's cool.
Like all these mascots. There was a few in Texans that I kind of became friends with, and all over the league, and then suddenly they were all in one place, and
right,
that's where for me it was like, man, and they all know each other,
Yep.
It's fun. So that poker charity thing was on the Wednesday night before night one of the draft, and that was a lot of fun. There was also a Superfan Summit on Friday during the day before the draft stuff started. I do have some footage and video of that I haven't put out yet, actually, because I've done 2 draft videos already. I might put something out, but that was just, I try to enjoy that more than actually going around vlogging it. But that was a lot of fun seeing everyone in the same space. It's so crazy. It's a community. It's interesting.
Oh God, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The best part about that poker tournament, a Raider fan won it.
That's right. Baron Raider.
Won it for his charity for decoding dyslexia in the state of Iowa. So congrats to him. Again, I know I've said it almost every show since then, but you know what? He needs more credit on that because he did a hell of a job promoting that too.
He did. And man, that thing went late too. They finished at like 2 a.m. or something. So
it was still going on at that point. Oh yeah, man. I was done. Over 12 hours to get there. I was done. What kind of time frame you got still, Brian? I know we've been going a little longer than we thought.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good for a while, maybe 15, 20.
All right, because I do want to get to do we want to cut some of these out then, Nate?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
I can talk less too. I know I'm running my mouth a lot.
No, you're
Dude,
good.
You're the guest, man.
That's the best part.
We don't care. So let's see. You kind of answered this one about what went through your head when you broke the record. You just said it when you were at the Falcons Jets game. All that stuff went away, like the GPS and everything. Nate, you want to take this next one then after that one? I think that would be a good one to ask because it's already been asked in the chat.
Yeah. If you were to do the attempt again, like what would you do differently? What would you do the same? And also, are any international games on your radar this upcoming year or in the future?
If I did it again, well, probably I wouldn't do it again. First of all, let me say that. I have a feeling that my record will at least one of the records will be beaten. I know that for sure. I think the fastest time somebody will get it, and it's really just a matter of what the season looks like. When the schedule comes out, somebody can look at it and could find something faster than 72 days. Even though that was the fastest time last year, 71 might be the fastest next year. Or the schedule comes out and the fastest one is 73 days and they can't beat it, but eventually it's going to happen. The NFL is adding more games on different days, like we're going to get a Wednesday game this upcoming season. And when you start looking at that, how much the league is adding games on different days, I think that's going to make it easier for somebody to beat the fastest time to all stadiums. For the most games, I certainly will not try that again. 56. I think that's going to be harder for someone to beat. Again, if the league is adding more games on different days, sure. Yeah, maybe they could, but that was quite a lot. It was very expensive. So, it kind of takes a certain scenario for somebody to attempt that, but you kind of have to mentally prepare for somebody eventually beating it. I think that just comes with the territory of a Guinness record. They're meant to be broken. The expression is right. Mm-hmm. If I did do it again, I think, I don't know if I would vlog it again because it added so much. And I think I'd try to just enjoy it more instead of constantly thinking about what's next and, doing the video and driving here. And I was really in business mode a lot. I did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. Most of what I enjoyed was when I was at the tailgates or in the stadium, but everything outside of that, it was just like, I was just like in serious work mode. Try to enjoy it more. And I'd probably do it in a way where I would do as many West Coast games as possible. It just would have made the whole thing easier. I just still wanted to go to the Raider game. So I was flying out,
Yeah.
And we won 3 games last year. Look at that.
So Troy said the Steelers the new coaching staff showed up around midnight that night at the tournament.
Did they really?
Yeah, he said the Steelers coaching staff showed up around midnight, said the tournament was going viral.
Oh, that's crazy. I think I left around midnight, so I missed it.
Yeah, you probably just missed them.
Yeah.
So,
as far as international games, do you have any international games?
Yeah,
on your radar.
Have you been to an international game before or no?
I've not, and that's primarily because the Raiders haven't had one in about 7 or 8 years. It was like prior to the move was the last time we haven't had one in Las Vegas.
Mexico City,
yeah, but that was like 2018. It was before the move.
It was like one of the last Oakland years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I've been looking at them, but I'm still trying to figure out like this upcoming season what I'm gonna do, and I've got some thoughts, and I haven't decided. So I don't really know what to say about it. I could just go to the 17 Raider games again, or I'm not going to do a Guinness run. I know that. That's good. But yeah, international games have come to mind. But listen, I want to ask you guys, because I have very strong feelings about the Raiders. A lot of people think that we're going to get the game in Mexico City against the 49ers, and that could very well be the case. We don't know yet. We're going to find out in the next week. But I think the nation's kind of split. Do you guys want that game to be in Mexico City, or do you think it's better if it's in Santa Clara?
Yeah, you can go first. You're a West Coast guy. I'll let you answer that.
I believe it was already announced. I believe it's already announced that it's going to be in the Bay. Don't quote me on that, because I had seen something on TikTok that a 49er guy was already celebrating that it was going to be in the Bay.
Yeah, it's not officially announced, and I've been kind of monitoring that. So I think I think there's a lot of rumors floating around.
Got you.
Yeah. We're not going to get the Saints one because the Browns are playing the Saints in Paris, except that's not been officially announced. It's just maybe people have heard.
Got you. Yeah. For me, honestly, like being from Southern California, I'm from LA, I could care less about the 49ers, but I know it's a big deal. I think it would be a really cool thing to have the Battle of the Bay back for, all the Northern California people. And I know it's a really big deal. Like I said, already a 49er guy was, praising about it because they're going to have the Battle of the Bay back. So I would like to see that. And that's something that I would definitely be, willing to attend and wanting to attend. Because I can't even. I was unfortunately not able to go to Oakland. When they were in Oakland. So anything, close to what that could possibly have, that kind of experience, I think that would be awesome.
Close by about 50 something miles, right? Or more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, yeah,
exactly.
Melissa, I'm with you. And I was talking to, I will not name him, but I was talking to a Raider employee 2 nights ago, and at this Hispanic Football Hall of Fame thing, and we were just talking about that game, and he mentioned like, oh yeah, it'd be kind of cool if Raiders Niners in Mexico City. A lot of our fan base is Hispanic, Latino. There's there's some ties there. I think it would be really cool in Mexico City, and if it is there, I will go. But I looked at him when he said it, and I was like, yeah, I hate that. And he was like, what? Almost shocked that I said, look, for those Bay Area fans, this is the first time since we moved that there will be a game in the Bay. And there's so many fans, there's so many fans, not just in the Bay, but everywhere, that can't go to Vegas for a game, or they can't go to LA, from the Bay to LA for that one game we have against the Chargers every year. It's money, it's families, it's really hard. And this is the first time in, 8 years. Well, no, sorry, 8 years since we played the Niners there, but 7 years since we were in the Bay. And to have like a proper Oakland tailgate, because by the way, the San Francisco stadium, or Santa Clara Stadium, has a lot of parking, and the 49er tailgate is pretty good. But I cannot wait to see that Oakland tailgate just dominate their tailgate in their home and black it out. And for those people that live there, that can't go to Vegas, that can't go to LA, if the league puts it in Mexico City, they're going to rob them of that. And it's going to be a big FU to Oakland fans once again. Yeah, that's how I feel. But I'll still go to Mexico if it's there.
Me, it has no impact wherever they play. But I think I got to go with why Brian's saying he'd rather it be up in Santa Clara, not San Francisco. Just for that fact, to get those homegrown Raider fans from the Oakland area, the Bay Area, it's the closest they're going to get if they don't go to Vegas to go and see the Raiders. So hopefully they can get tickets for it. That's going to probably be the problem.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Let's switch gears a little bit here. I want to, because I've got a ton of questions that were given by the chat here, so I want to hit some of these.
Let's do it.
So there's this one. I think you kind of answered that one already. What is the next record you're going to break?
Number of hours of consecutive sleep. I think I broke
there you go.
That's a good one.
Bueno's got one. Did you have to pay for the Guinness employees tickets? You didn't have anybody with you. You were on your own, right?
Yeah, Guinness did not go with me. They weren't there to witness it, and that's why their guidelines were so strict. They had a long list of things that I had to do. 2 fans had to fill out forms as witnesses, 1 employee, GPS tracking. I had to save every receipt, not just the game ticket, but every travel receipt. And I had to upload everything to their website for all 56 games. When I uploaded the files, I uploaded 900 files to their website.
Oh, damn.
I had to give them video of like, it's like if your attempt is over an hour, then it needs to be like 2 minutes per hour. So I had to give them like a 6-minute video that included the start of the game and the end of the game to prove that I was there. I could not leave a game early. That was not allowed. I had to be there for the beginning and the end. So if I showed up late or left early, it wouldn't count. So I needed photos, I needed videos, I needed receipts, I needed the tickets to prove that I was there, that I didn't drive a car, that, I took public transportation, and it was 900 files that I uploaded to their website.
Damn.
Well, as a Raider fan, I mean, most Raider fans don't leave games, even if we're getting blown out. They'll stay to the last second. I mean, I sat in a game in New York where the Giants were kicking our ass 44-7, and I stayed to the last second, clicked off. So I don't leave games early. You saw it in New England You saw how many Pats fans bailed out midway through the fourth quarter. That stadium was emptying out. Because I did a video of them walking out. I'm like, yeah, there go the Pats fans. They're not going to win the game, so they're going home already.
Yeah.
So the other questions I have here, you've already answered this one pretty much. You're pretty much not going to try it. The 18 weeks. And international, Brian kind of answered that one already too. So I guess he's going to kind of wait for the schedule if he's going to go international. Yeah. Troy's got a good one. What was it like to be on the set of Good Morning Football?
Great one.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Gosh, that was crazy because it was 2 days after the torch lighting too. You know what I mean? So it was still such a high that I was on. I had to get there at like 5 a.m. But fortunately that set, you know, when they reached out to me, they reached out to me on Instagram. And by the way, I thought it was fake at first. And 2 different people reached out to me though, and I thought, oh, maybe it's not fake. But one of the accounts didn't have a profile picture, you know, so it kind of looks like this is shady. Too. So I asked the other account. I said, hey, I got contacted by this person too. Is this legit? Is this real? And they're like, yes, it's real. And the other account had a picture and had stuff in their info that looked like, oh, okay, this seems more like legit. So anyway, so talked with them a little bit, and they said, well, we could do this via Zoom or, you know, stream it, or if you want to come to LA. I was like, I live 3 miles from the NFL offices in LA are at SoFi Stadium. So it's right there. So I was like, I'll come in for sure. But it was early. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. But everyone there was super nice, and
because they start at 8 o'clock in the morning my time.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just beasts, right? But you know, all the pre stuff, they had me in a nice green room waiting, and you know, got me coffee. They did a little makeup touch up. That was nice, you know, get all my blemishes out. But then they walked me out
yourself when you're filming yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. I probably should, like, you know, get rid of the dark circles from not sleeping under my eyes. But yeah, they walked me out to the set. It's like a big room, and they were in the process of, they were in a segment when I went out there, but we were just kind of hanging out towards the back. And then, you know, eventually went to commercial, and then they took me up to the table where they're sitting. And they were super nice. And I think the interview, I think it went well. There was even a point when, oh gosh, what's her name? Erin? Is it Erin? I'm blanking. Sorry about that. But one of the hosts, Manti Te'o was one, and then she's a Vikings fan.
Jamie Erdahl is the blonde. Jamie.
Yes, Jamie.
She's the one that came in place of the other person who shall be not named.
It was really nice because we got to talk about the Guinness journey. We got to talk a little bit about Raiders. But there was a moment when she was asking me about the Guinness trip, and she was like, well, hang on a second. Did you ever have, I mean, we talked about the fact that it was 56 games, right? But it hadn't quite clicked yet. And she said, did you ever have a weekend where you went to like 3 games, Thursday, Sunday, Monday? And I kind of paused and I looked at her and I was like, that was every single weekend, Thursday, Sunday, Monday for 4 months. And then suddenly she was like, oh my gosh. And I got to see like the reaction in real time. You know, that was pretty cool.
And Jason Marshall said, and Brian says he's not a celebrity.
I was a guest. I did one thing, you know, it's like 15 minutes of fame, I guess.
Let's see. So Anthony says, how many games will you go to this year? I'm sure all those made you bankrupt, especially the playoffs, outrageously pricey.
Yeah, the playoffs were
at the Super Bowl too, right?
I kept it going. I went to every possible playoff game I could. So the wild card round, I went to a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday game. So I went to 3. And then the divisional round, I went to a Saturday, Sunday game. And then the conference championships, there's only 2 games and they're on the same day. So you could only go to 1. So what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6 playoff games plus the Super Bowl. So 7 playoff games on top of the 56. So really I went to 63 games, but those don't count towards the Guinness record. It's very specific and it says regular season only. But yeah, those were, I mean, it was pricey, but there was a little bit of help here and there. And I wouldn't buy front row tickets usually, you know. I think I only splurged one time in Houston, Raiders Texans, and sat in the front row. That was like the only time I did that. But I didn't answer the question. What the hell was the question? Oh, how many games am I going to? I haven't decided. That schedule is coming out in a week. It's going to be like next Wednesday or Thursday.
It's next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. All right. Wednesday. So Wednesday at 5, I'm going to be, I don't know. I think I'm probably going to like film something of, I did this a couple of years ago, have my wife just say what each game is one by one instead of me looking at the whole thing so I can kind of process each one. But yeah, I think once I have that, I'm probably going to spend a week or two to like really game plan and then I'll decide. So sorry, I don't have a great answer for that at the moment.
Well, yeah, and I get it too, because really everything for you depends on the schedule, like when the dates are and everything. Like next Wednesday when it's being revealed, Nate, myself, Leo, and Jay from Just Raiders, maybe we'll be live on our Raider Connection show doing, a live show as the reveal in the schedule. So we got 2 East Coast trips again this year too. We get the Jets and the New England Patriots again.
Are you doing another big tailgate? I know how much work that is.
Yep. Already got the thought process, and you know what it is? I did it last year, and it was the first one that I actually pretty much did and ran. So now I know the do's and don'ts going forward and what worked and what didn't. So this will be hopefully a little bit smoother. It just depends on how many people are coming out here this year.
Right.
That's the big thing.
Which might depend on the schedule, because if it's like December 28th, Like
I told my wife, I said, I just pray to God that the Jets and the Patriots games are not back-to-back and that it's the Jets game first. If it's going to be a game first, I want it to be the Patriots game first and then the Jets the following week, because I can put all my attention to that game in New England. And when that game's over, come home, put everything away, done. Because we're going to go to New York. I'm already going to be involved in the planning for that weekend's parties and such. Nice. So my chapter and myself will be heavily involved in helping run and promote it. I don't want to have to go to New York and then the following week come home and start getting everything ready for it, because that's going to start on Wednesday for me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be on. I'm just going to be a short week, just like in the NFL. It's going to be a short week for me. We're going to come home for Sunday after the game in New York and have to already 2 days later. I'm going to be full bore into whatever's going on.
New England, if I go to that game in New England, see, that's a case where I will do things differently because I will not be on the Guinness thing. Because I was taking the train from Boston down to Foxborough, and it's only one train. I went there twice. Yeah. One game they had 2 trains, and the other game they only had 1 train. So, I got there like an hour before the game. That's why I didn't have that much time in your tailgate. But without the Guinness stuff, I could get down there earlier. I could rent a car. I could take an Uber. It's like a 45-minute drive though. So, taking an Uber is not cheap. But
if you stay in Boston, which is where we're going to do most of the stuff this year, we're not going to do anything in Providence or Rhode Island. So
Okay. Yeah. But I'll be able to enjoy more of the tailgate because it is tough to get to Foxborough.
Yeah.
Yes, it is because it's out in the middle of nowhere. That's the thing. It's not like even close to a city. I mean, it's literally from my house in that direction. It's literally 20 minutes from my house. That's how close I am to that stadium.
I prefer the stadiums that are in cities. The ones like the New England, Buffalo, KC are outside of the city. It just makes Buffalo's it really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to end, especially to get out. Because look, every stadium's hard to get out because everybody's leaving at the same time. But getting in, it's kind of spread out throughout the day. People are showing up. But Buffalo, getting out of Buffalo is like 2 hours to get out of that area. But when you're in a city, you can kind of walk a certain distance and you can get on a train. You can get, it's just, I like being in the middle, like the Detroit. It's right there in the middle.
See, I could see you going to Buffalo this season, even though we're not playing there, because it's going to be a brand new stadium this season for them. I see you at least once.
It kills me because, last year I went to every stadium and some of them multiple times, right? So I could say I've been to every stadium until the season starts, and then I can't say that anymore. So you're right. And then next year it'll be Tennessee, and then there's going to be Chicago, there's going to be Washington, there's going to be KC. Like every year there's going to be a new stadium. This thing is never going to end,
Yeah. So here's one from Bueno. What was the best thing you ate while being able to travel to different cities? And did you live off airport food? Well, you kind of answered the airport food part already. Yeah. What was the best thing you ate?
I get that. I get that question about the stadium, which stadium has the best food. And I think
that's the next question.
I think the problem with this for me is that was not my focus. Like I could have done an entire journey on that alone. In fact, I met a guy. There was a guy, his account on Instagram is Dude Loves Food, ATL, and he's a Atlanta guy. And he went to every state, all 30 stadiums last year. He went to every one. There's another guy, Wheelchair Kev, that wanted to be the first guy in a wheelchair that went to every stadium. So I met these guys throughout the journey, and I would connect with them when we were at the same game. And, so these two guys went to every stadium last year, but this guy focused on food, but he would go in and he would buy like 4 different things and, take a few bites of each one, or maybe eat the whole thing if it was really good, whatever. But for me, I had all my gear, even in the stadium. I was walking around the stadium. I would just suddenly be hungry and just be like, oh, here's a hot dog, or here's a piece of pizza, or, whatever. I would just snatch something up. I didn't plan out the food, and the cost would have been great. I think the best food in the stadiums, like Allegiant, for example, they have the basics, but they also have some stuff that's a little more bougie and a little more expensive. And like, if you want the really good stuff, then it's more expensive. And I was not willing to add to my cost or my focus, because I was trying to film. I was trying to get all the signatures. I was trying to get so food was like number 10 on the list. And sometimes I was like,
type of stuff,
I'd just grab it. Yeah. Like I was in Green Bay. I was like, what should I try here? And I just got a hot dog and I got a little thing of curds, and they were terrible. And I threw them out and didn't even eat them. So I can tell you that much. But I will tell you this, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta has the cheapest food. Their ownership has made it a point to keep the cost. They have $2 hot dogs, $2 hot dogs. So actually, for families coming to the
videos,
I did. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. And even they're going to host some World Cup games there too. And they're going to keep the costs as they are for people to enjoy. So, kudos to them, because every other stadium is gouging.
Oh God. Yeah. Thank God, you know what? Thank God I don't drink anymore, because I would lose all my money going to games just to buy drinks. I mean, that would cost me a freaking arm and a leg. I see how much they are now. It's like, fuck that. Even the waters are expensive.
Yeah.
And you know what would happen to me sometimes is like take your party in New England. Fortunately, I did eat there. So that would help me with the food inside the stadium. I wouldn't get food in the stadium every time because there was a tailgate and I'd get food or something. But other times I would be running around with a camera in one hand, mic in the other, and maybe I wouldn't eat at the tailgate, or I wouldn't drink really unless somebody poured a shot down my throat, but I wouldn't really drink. So by the time I got in the stadium to my seat and sat down, I'd be like tired, and I'd just be like, I need a beer. And then I go buy a $20 beer. It was like, oh man.
Hey, what did he just say about pouring a shot down his throat? Go ahead, fill him in.
Yeah. So week 1, I was in New England as well. Me and my girlfriend went, and you were doing a video. You were interviewing somebody. My girlfriend just comes up. She goes, "Shot," and pours a shot down your throat.
That's your girl. Like, okay. Yes. There's footage. We have footage of that.
Yeah. That's my girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay. It's all coming together now.
Yeah, the chicken parm. Were you able to eat that while you were there?
I didn't have chicken parm. No.
Did you have the potty pizza?
No, I think I had. Did you guys have tacos?
No, we had
I definitely ate something, but I don't remember. Oh, maybe I did have the pizza. No, I think I did have the pizza.
It was just sauce on it, right? Nothing else.
You had a whole table with like a bunch of
there.
Yeah.
That's what I had like. It's what they call party pizza. It's just the dough with the sauce on it.
That's right.
It's awesome. A lot of people like it though.
You explained that to me the night before at the party. You were talking about these party pizzas. Yeah. So that's what I had. I had the pizza. Yeah.
At least you got to eat. Bueno's got another question. How many frequent flyer points did you rack up?
A lot. But the funny thing is I don't have them anymore, because what I do is I would buy these flights. Like before the season started, I bought a bunch of flights, racked up miles. I already had some miles, and then I would use them all. And then I'd have to buy more flights, and then I'd have to use them all. I mean, this was over 100 flights. It was probably around like 115 flights that I took. So I would spend, use the miles, spend, use the miles. So it was just constantly going up and down. But yeah, it was a lot. But the other thing is that it would have been nice if I could have just said, okay, I'm only taking this airline. I'm really going to focus on the miles and the benefits and, whatever. But that wasn't the case because they were like, well, to get there at the time when I want or need to, I had to be open to any airline. So I was taking all of them. I took mostly like American, Delta, but every now and then I took a couple of Frontier flights that were quite interesting. A lot of Southwest. Before the season, I opened up a few new credit cards that gave you flights up front, so I got it just for that, got the points, used it, and then now you can get rid of the cards. So yeah.
Shout out to Bueno, just gifted 5 more members on my channel. I appreciate you, my brother. See, this is what I like about my guys in the
Muy
chat.
bueno.
We got awesome chat members on both of our shows, and we got some great guys. And don't forget, guys, get over to the LV channel too and show the love over there. And don't forget, we're on with Brian Fowler from All In Autumn Win. All his links are in the bottom of both descriptions in both of our channels, so you can access all his stuff. If you haven't already, get over there. You got to see it. I think this may be like one more. Oh, Troy just asked a question. Are you going to the Tailgate Hall of Fame reunion in Canton during the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies?
I've never been there, but I talked to quite a few fans when we were in Pittsburgh about that.
You've been to the Hall of Fame?
I've been there, but not during the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they have the Hall of Fame game, the super fans, and it's a lot of the same people that go to the draft and, that community, they do a whole like tailgating thing, and they do something like camping and they have trailers and RVs, and it's crazy. So I've started looking into it. I've talked to a few people. Troy, I think, Diggs and Teresa in Minnesota. We were talking with them quite a bit about it. So I'm definitely looking into that. I think what it's going to take is the schedule needs to come out. I need to decide what I'm doing. And then, from there, I know the Hall of Fame game and that whole weekend is prior to the season, but at the same time, I just got to manage like cost and timing. So I'll know in a few weeks, but I think I'm going to do it because that's something I have not done yet. I think that'll be fun.
We've got pretty much 2 of the same questions here. I'll pick Predators because Raider Knight asked the same thing. What was your favorite game?
Rams Seahawks Thursday night in Seattle. It was a crazy game. It was the game where the Rams were up by 16, and then the Seahawks ran a punt back, and then they got another touchdown. They were going for 2 points to tie it. They didn't get it, but then suddenly we were in the stands thinking like, okay, they didn't get it. The Seahawks are down by 2. There's still some time left, but they were setting up for the kickoff, and all of a sudden they keep showing on the screen the replay. It's like, it's obvious he didn't catch it, but it was that thing where they say it went backwards and it rolled into the end zone, and the Seahawks player picked it up. That was so insane. And then it went to overtime, and the Rams scored first. The Seahawks scored second, and instead of kicking the extra point to tie, they went for 2 to win the game, and they did. That changed, honestly, from that point forward, because, the NFC West was really tough. Niners, Rams, Seahawks, they all made the playoffs. But the Rams were in number 1 seed in the league at that point. And that game flipped the whole dynamics of the rest of the regular season and the playoffs, because then the Seahawks opened the playoffs at home against the Niners, blew them out. And then they had the NFC Championship game at home against the Rams. And that goes back to that Thursday night. Yep. And that Rams Seahawks game for the AFC or NFC Championship was the Super Bowl. It was like whoever came out of that was going to kill New England. And I had no doubt about that whatsoever.
God,
yeah, that Thursday night game was just crazy.
I think Denver would have been a better Super Bowl than the Patriots, but
yeah. But F the Broncos.
Exactly. Well, I still hate the Patriots more. The Patriots are my number 1 most despised team.
See, that's when it's very geographical, isn't it? Like it seems like you should root against the division rival, but it depends on the people around you and the teams around you and the history. Yeah,
because I got to live with the fans around here. That's the problem. I don't have to live around Denver fans.
That's right.
I can tolerate Raider fans giving me crap because I'm cheering on the Broncos for whatever reason. I just don't like the Patriots that much. I was a huge Broncos fan. I should say that, but I was an even bigger Patriot hater that day, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I get it. I get it. Yeah. I think even my allegiance or my hatred towards our divisional rivals changes. I don't think the Chargers have ever been on top because they've never done anything, but growing up, it was the Broncos. It was John Elway, because every year they were getting in the playoffs. And then like in the early 90s, they beat us a couple of times. They beat us once in the playoffs. It's just like the Broncos. I hated them so much. And then he won 2 Super Bowls at the end of the 90s. And, you know, and then Manning got one. So it was like Broncos were the most for a while. But I tell you, this era of the Chiefs has quickly surpassed that. And, you know, Holmes and those fans and their 3 Super Bowls is really now the Chiefs are on top for hatred. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. So I think we answered we asked all the questions, and then actually the chat kind of banged out the rest of the record talk stuff. So we're gonna skip that. I'm not gonna ask those. We're gonna move on to Raiders talk. How much time do you really have?
I'll have to jump for this, okay? But I think I'll leave you with one more note on the Guinness journey. When I started it, the whole focus was planning and schedule and just getting, you know, checking all the boxes. And it was just very much about like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that. It was, you know, and it took me about 2 or 3 games to realize that this whole journey was a people journey. Because it was every game where I was connected with people in advance or connected with people at the game was far better than the experiences where I went to a stadium not knowing anybody and just kind of had to find my way around. It was a million times better. And it was just these connections through the draft, through the super fans. I would meet people here at this stadium who would put me in touch with people at the next city I was going to. And they all wanted to help out. And it was that, I didn't think about that before the journey started. I didn't think about that. Like, this whole thing is really a people journey. You know, it's football. It's supposed to be fun. And you have fun with people. You don't have fun just sitting there by yourself thinking about football. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe I do, but yeah, no, it was a people journey. It was great. And it just, you know, being able to talk with you guys, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I do have one question I do want to ask you, because I think this means a lot to both Nate and myself. Did you ever expect to influence other creators in Raider Nation the way you have? And what advice would you give someone trying to build something in real Raider Nation? Because I have a personal thing I want to say, but I'll let you answer that first.
I didn't expect it. And I think that I have influenced some people a little bit, because I've had a few people tell me, but I don't have this notion that I've like influenced a ton of people that's been this huge impact. I think if anything, what I've come to realize about the Guinness journey is that I think I've inspired more people to try to beat the records. I've had people reach out to me. I realized I publicized that so much that suddenly people are like, oh, I didn't realize that was something you could do. I might try that, you know? So I won't be surprised if somebody beats one of the records soon, but we'll see. Yeah.
I just want to let you know that watching your journey and actually being part of it, you know, because I was in 2 situations, I was part of it, and so was Nate too. You know, I saw you when you started this. Granted, it wasn't the first game of the season, but it was the first Raiders game of the season when you were here in New England. And then as I watched your journey throughout the season, and then when we reconnected in Philly and having seen what you went through, it actually inspired me to make a change on one of the shows I do. So like on my Friday night show, I don't talk just Raiders on Friday night. I talk all 32 NFL teams. And watching you interact with these different fans from all these different fan bases, that impacted me to the point where I said, you know what? If a Raider fan like Brian can go out and do this and represent the Raiders the whole time while talking to these other fan bases and some of our heated rival fan bases and be successful at it, I should be able to give this a shot too on a Friday night. So I do the live call-ins with fans from all over. I've got a regular that calls in every week. He's a Texans fan, and he calls in religiously every Friday night. You know, so you inspired me to do that, to kind of spread my wings a little bit and not just pigeonhole, but not just stay Raiders focused. It's like it's time for me to kind of expand. You know,
I love that.
So
I love that.
I thank you for that, because that had a huge impact on me. So I definitely thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That means a lot. It really does.
Yeah, and I just want to say the same thing. You know, you inspired me to start on, you know, a content journey. Like I said before, I had done like some little interview stuff in here from watching your channel and other people's channels like that, and it's really got me to start, you know, kind of spread the love that I have for the Raiders. And I just want to thank you for that. You know, putting yourself out there, seeing, you know, other Raider fans like that is, you know, extremely inspiring, and I just want to thank you, you know, for sure.
That's amazing. Thank you guys. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
seriously, and we're not
course.
bullshitting
Thank you,
either.
man.
It's 100% true. Because I said that to Nate, I said, I want to ask him this question. I said, because when he answers it, I want to give my take on it, because
Yeah,
that's exactly how I look at what I did on Friday night. Was I took a cue from you, and I saw how successful you were with it. I'm like, even if I just a fraction of that, it's success in my book. So again, thank you.
That's amazing.
So you got to take off.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for being here with us.
Yes.
We talked originally it was going to be about an hour or so. We've been on for almost 2 hours.
It flew by, man. I was having fun.
yeah.
It did, you know, and I'm glad you were able to come on and do this, and we'll meet up again at some point during the
I'll see
season.
you in
I'm
Bakersfield.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There we go.
maybe
Yeah.
you know,
Is
maybe
your girl going to be there with shots?
She will. She definitely
Okay.
will.
Okay, good. then I'll be there.
maybe I'll see you in New England this year. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
see you in, you know, if you come out for the Raiders Jets game, we'll see you then too. But,
We'll know a lot come Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes,
won't
sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
So
Can't wait.
everybody say goodbye to Brian. It's been a wicked good sport tonight coming in here and doing this with us, and appreciate you. And I'm impressed with your record, and let's hope it never gets broken. But somebody asked in the chat if we can get a Raiders out of you, like a regular Raiders chant.
Oh, okay. You'll get that out of me. I'm going to show you one last thing before I go. I mentioned a couple times this Hispanic Hall of Fame thing, right? It was at Raiders headquarters, but it was like 7 players were inducted into the Hispanic Football Hall of Fame, and it was
awesome.
Anthony Munoz from the Bengals, Ron Rivera from the Bears, later the coach. Yeah. Tom Flores, Jim Plunkett, Ted Hendricks. So there were some Raiders in there.
I met Ted Hendricks before.
Oh, he's great. The Mad Stork.
He's hilarious.
But I got this helmet here. And that's their logo, and it's got Munoz, it's got Rivera, it's got Hendricks, it's got Plunkett. Flores didn't sign it. His health is not great, so he didn't come. But they also did Player of the Year, high school, college, and pros. And the Hispanic College Player of the Year was Fernando Mendoza.
Oh,
look at
that's
that.
so cool.
Yeah. So that was a nice pickup. I normally don't buy like a lot of memorabilia or things like that, but I did get that. It was good. So
that's pretty cool though.
It was great that the Raiders hosted it because we have such a long legacy of diversity. You know, the first Hispanic quarterback coach, first black coach, black women, Sandra's president. Like, you know, it made sense that it was at the Raiders headquarters for the first one. It won't be there every time, but yeah, it's a really cool thing that they're doing. So I was glad to be a part of it. All right. With that, I'll leave you with a Raiders.
There we go. Clip that.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Brother.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Wow. That was you happy there, Mr. Furpo? That was damn, that was a great interview, man. Jesus Christ. I don't even know where to go from here now. Damn. That was
awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah. I started 9:00 Eastern on Fridays. Man, that was an awesome interview. I don't even know what to say. He answered all the questions with such in-depth context. It was just like, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, because I've seen some interviews where you're asking a personal question, and I'm like, yeah, it was okay. and then they just go on. You know, I mean, Brian's got a story to tell. You know, and yeah, obviously did it. I mean, what a year he had. God damn.
Yeah, what a year.
That was that was awesome. So let's well, what am I missing? Because I'm so far behind on the chat. What's up? What's up, Will?
Yeah, Will, all the way at the end. What's good, fam? That's just so funny.
Federation, you've been watching the whole time.
It's been great.
So we ready for the surprise?
Yes, I think everyone is waiting with anticipation.
All right, so I'm going to
for the surprise. They don't know what was coming.
Yep. So we're going to put this in the chat, and we're going to put this there because we have merchandise dropping for our show. We have the Raiders Coast2Coast official snapback hat and t-shirt, and we're doing it as a special bundle right now. Okay, so $49.99 gets you both the shirt and the hat as a bundle. You can buy them separately, but it's going to cost you about an extra $10 if you buy them. If you buy them like the hat and then buy them as the combo, you get them cheaper. So just so you see it, here's the hat.
Sick, honestly.
I thought I heard the smoke alarm going off next door, but it's her car. It's her car. So on the front of the hat, you're going to have this logo. Let me do this so we can blow it up bigger. There we go. Nope, not that. Not that. Not that. Come on. There we go. So that's the front of the hat. And this is the back of the hat. And here is the shirt. That's the front. And here's the back. East Coast, West Coast, one Raider Nation, 401 and LV10.
Yes, sir.
So we are launching this merchandise as of tonight. And while we are speaking here, I am putting it public on the store. And then I will post the links in a second. Let's see, here's the bundle. And the bundle is now public. And here is the link. That's the link for the store. It's all under the 401 store, but it is going towards Nate and I to cover expenses and such. So this is official merch launch, and we're doing this bundle for a week. So by the end of the show next Thursday, this is a 1 week only for we're doing the bundle. So if you want to get these, get them now. Okay? Save your money. Save you some money on getting the bundle versus buying them separately after the bundle ends. Remember
That's
that.
right.
Yeah, we got to go back to this. Boom, there we go. So that is the new merchandise. And they are now all open and available. Sizes go up to 5X for some of us heftier people. And who knows? We may have other drops coming along soon, too, for our brand, for our Thursday night show.
That's right.
So, but so what did anybody say in here? Let's see. Double surprise in the live. Yep. Oh my God. Let's get back to your Broncos comment, Jeff. No, let's not. I need the hat and shirt signed by both of you. We could do that. Next time we meet up, I'll autograph it. Like the hat on my store, it's going to be, that's it. I'm as soon as they produce the two that were ordered, the one for me and the one for D-Menace, I'm changing the logo because I didn't like the way it came out. So I told D-Menace, I said, whenever we get together, if you've got your hat, I'll autograph it and I'll mark it down 1 of 2. And
right.
I only wear it if Nate and Jeff's face are on it.
Oh, it did.
It's a 401 rated Jeff production. Yeah, okay. I can live with that. The shirt is dope. I need it. Send merch to Mendoza. Ugh. But there it is, folks. You know, you know what it is? Here's the thing. Nate and I, we've been doing this show for a while now. So when this season starts, when the 2026 season starts, Nate and I have been together for 2 years doing this Thursday night show. And I absolutely love doing my Thursday night shows with Nate because he brings a different aspect than I do. You know, he brings the knowledge when it comes to some of these players, the technical stuff. I just like to talk. So if you haven't realized that by now after all this time. But no, I mean, again, we get along great, you know, so this has been a tremendous show. This has been a great experience doing this with you, Nate. And now that we're able to expand this even more now by having this merchandise, that's, you know, we're expanding basically. You know, we're trying to broaden our horizons and open this up to other fans, you know, to the chat.
Yes, sir.
So remember, no, the promo code. Sorry, I didn't tell you this. The merch drop promo code is Coast2Coast. Hey, hold on. Did I put that in there as the code? Shit.
Did I put that in there as a code?
No, I apologize. No. The code is C2C 2026 is what it is. My bad.
There you go.
There it is. My bad. Here it is. Here's the promo code. C2C 2026. So after next Wednesday, code's out. I mean next Wednesday. So yeah. You got anything else you want to add? We're obviously not going to get to the big board tonight.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I like the fact that we got a little bit more time with Brian today.
Oh yeah, I would definitely. I'm glad we didn't cut it short. Like he was able to keep going because he was having fun. We were having fun with it. The chat was having a blast. The chat was super active. I know I didn't get to everybody's saluting us as they came in. It's just was trying to concentrate on making sure we asked them the questions that we wanted to, but at the same time notating all the questions that you guys were asking and make sure we at least got those questions asked of him too. So I'm absolutely ecstatic with how this came out tonight. This was a fun one. It really was.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Yeah, for sure. But well, you got anything you want to add tonight?
That's it. I had a great time. I appreciate everybody coming up on here. We had a great guest. Want to thank him again, of course. But yeah, that's going to be it for me.
2 years, like sexual. You're an idiot. Do I get a feeling? Yeah, you're getting $10 off just by ordering them as a combo. I mean, you want to wait till next week and buy them separate, you know, then it's going to cost you $10 more. So, but yeah, I got nothing else. So next week we'll attempt again because we tried doing it last week too, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't do a show last week. It was your brother's birthday.
It was my brother's birthday. Yeah, you're right. We
were going to do it until you realized it was his birthday that day.
Yeah.
So we will try and get to the goal is next Thursday. We'll cover the big board and what we did for our mock drafts to see how far off we were or if we got any right.
Yeah.
You got anything coming up that you're doing, or are you done with the Gruden stuff now?
I've been so busy, I haven't even gotten to the Gruden stuff. I'm not gonna lie. But the next thing coming up is probably Bakersfield. So that's definitely gonna be punctual. I'm gonna do a bunch of Bakersfield stuff. So look forward to that for sure.
What's up, Raider Pete? Can I make a suggestion when you go to Bakersfield?
Make sure my audio is correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Sure your audio's working, so you don't waste your time doing hours of video or whatever, and then realize when you get home, go, fuck, my mic wasn't working. So,
well, the good thing about last year from Bakersfield, the good thing from last year about Bakersfield is that it wasn't a user error. It was I didn't have all the right equipment. So now that I do, there we go.
Mm-hmm. I will be on tomorrow night with my No Huddle show again, which is for all 32 NFL teams, covering the news from last Friday to tomorrow at noontime when I start accumulating everything that we're going to talk about on the show. And then Saturday, and that's at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific. And then Saturday night, myself and Jason Downs doing Raider Nation Voices. We start at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. So make sure you guys tune in. Hopefully we get some more. Oh, yeah, hat and shirt bundle, $49.99. Forget to do that.
I know I'm getting one.
So you got any final thoughts on tonight, or any other questions? Or
no, I think I'm all good. Yeah.
All right. Just double check this. I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. I think I covered everything. All right. So I've got one little thing that I just want to do at the end of this here. Just to let everybody know that, tonight was different. Tonight was a reminder that this fan base is different. Brian proved that. Every city, every station, every mile, stadium, not station, every mile, his commitment to doing this, breaking this record. I mean, again, I said it earlier in the show that was like his personal commitment to excellence. He committed to it and he excelled at it. So that's his commitment to excellence. That's Raider Nation. He is Raider Nation. And now we need the team to match that energy is what we're hoping for. If the team can do a quarter or just a fraction of the persistence that he had getting through that record last year, we could possibly be somewhat successful. It's tough, smart, physical, accountable, no excuses. That's the standard. Again, to Brian Fowler, thank you for being on here tonight. Nate, thank you for tonight with your questions and contributing to the show tonight. It's been a great collaboration. I mean, we put in some hours prior to tonight.
You especially.
Yeah, but still, I mean, we sat in the studio last night for a couple hours going over the questions, which ones we liked, which ones we didn't want to ask. I mean, that took some time. I mean, it's time consuming. So this isn't just clicking a button, going live, and just, hey, what happens. This planning and shit. So don't forget, on your way out tonight, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, punch the notification bell right in the face, and as I always say, everybody, stay safe and go Raiders. Ciao.
From the tailgate smoke to the late night post, best cash in the game. Raiders Coast2Coast. Click that play, let it roll. Silver, black in my soul, got 401. Righty to Jeff, breaking plays, taking notes, that chef. Film on loop, he's stacking stats, calling out schemes, exposing gaps. When the line holds, when it don't, he said what they scared to quote. Raiders coast to coast, that's the show I trust the most. From a play down to that post, we riding, we riding. Raiders coast to coast, if you bleed that silver ghost, hit subscribe and raise a toast. We riding, we riding. LV, Rita 10, bring that flame. Live from the desert, loving this game. Stories from the stands, from the strip. Heart in the huddle every trip. They debate it, never fake it. Caught a draft pick, celebrate it when the shield shine bright on screen. You can hear the whole fan base scream. Let's go! Let's go! coast, we riding, we riding. Raiders coast to coast. If you bleed that silver ghost, then subscribe and raise a toast. We riding, we riding. We're the old Coliseum to the lights where we see them YouTube bomb. That's the spot for the real talk. Real plot for war, rid of Jeff, LV with rid of 10. Run it back, run it back, run it back. Play that episode again. Raiders coast to coast. It's the show I trust the most. From the bay down to that post, we riding, we riding. Raiders coast to coast. If you bleed that silver ghost, then subscribe and raise a toast. We riding, we riding.
Man, that was awesome.
That was so sick. It still says live.
Yeah, why does it still say we're live? Okay. Are we still live? We don't want to talk bad about Raider Pete.
Because you still are live.
Are we still live?
From the tailgate smoke